which Spanish accent is the easiest to learn? ¿De México? ¿De España? ¿De Puerto Rico? Hola, me llamo André, soy un entrenador del español y aprendí por mi cuenta. Hablé con mucha gente, muchos países de Latinoamérica, y hoy me voy a hacer una lista de tier, ranking the easiest Spanish accents to learn. Without further ado, vámonos. I have 5 different categories. Muy fácil, which is very easy. Entiendo, which is like understand. Poco a poco, which is like a little bit by little bit. Repite, por favor. Or necesito subtítulos. Okay, so we're gonna start off with el acento de Chile. Okay, I'm gonna put the Chilean accent. I'm gonna put it right here in the middle. It's not gonna go right here because it's not as like hard as, it's not one of the harder accents to learn, but it's also not really easy because they have so many different slang and words that I don't even understand. And I speak Spanish, so I'm gonna put it right there. Next, I got El Salvador. I'm gonna put El Salvador entiendo, because la gente de El Salvador hablan muy claro, in mi opinión. I think they really speak, they speak really well. Honestly, they're really clear. They're not like, they don't use so much slang, and yeah, I think their accent is actually one of the most clear ones. It might actually be muy fácil, but I'm gonna put it entiendo ahorita. Ecuador. I'm gonna put Ecuador at poco a poco, because I mean, if you hear Moises Caicedo, como él habla, how he speaks, you know, it's like on the same level as Chile. It's not, the accent is hard, but it's not super hard. Now we got our first, La República Dominicana. I'm gonna put La República Dominicana. I'm gonna put this one at Necesito subtítulos. Honestly, I actually, you know what? Andre, what do you think? What do y'all think? It's either one of these two, honestly. It's repite por favor. I'm gonna put it repite por favor for me personally, but I think honestly I could see someone putting it in Necesito subtítulos because how they speak and las jergas, de like what they use, the slang and everything like that. I'm gonna put it Necesito subtítulos because it is not easy to learn. Scratch that. We're gonna put it repite por favor because I think it's easier than a lot of the other ones. Cuba. I think Cuba goes in, honestly, I don't really know much about the Cuban accent. I'll be completely honest with you. So I'm gonna put it at poco a poco. I think it's easier than learning the Dominican accent. Honest to God, I really do. Colombia. I'm gonna put Colombia entiendo, understood. Actually, you know what? We'll put it at muy fácil. I think it'll be probably one of the easier ones to actually learn, and it's more enjoyable too. Like Manuel Torizo, you got Karol G, you got all these different people that are Colombian and they speak really good Spanish, and their accent is really clear for the most part. Peru. Shout out to all the Peruvians, man. I love them. I'm gonna put it at entiendo because I mean, when I spoke to a lot of Peruvians, I understood them pretty well. They didn't speak in like a raspy tone like a lot of the other Spanish-speaking countries do. So I would put it at entiendo. Mexico. El tri. I'm gonna put this as muy fácil, obviously. The Mexican accent, I would compare it to actually the American accent in English. So you have like, if you want to learn English, you want to, you know, you have the American accent, you got the UK accent, you got the Australian accent, New Zealand accent, and probably other ones like South African over there. I would say American is like this on the same wavelength as Mexico because the accent is really clear. When I speak to Mexicanos, because yo vivo acá en los Estados Unidos, hay muchos mexicanos que donde vivo. There's a lot of Mexicans I actually speak to, and their accent's really clear, like as clear, crystal clear as I can actually possibly get. Obviously, when you go to like the barrio and like, you know, you see like all the different types of Mexicans, you know, it could get tricky, but when it comes to, I'm gonna make that clear, when it comes to understanding them, okay? So I would put it muy fácil, muy fácil. Argentina. But Argentina, I'm gonna put repite por favor. I'm gonna put it below Dominicana. Honestly, as a someone who actually learned Spanish on their own, like learning all the accents, the Argentine accent is hard. I mean, look at Messi when he speaks. Like that motherfucker, like you can't even understand what he's saying half the time too.
Bueno, Leo, quedaste un poco un poco caliente por el final.
¿Qué mira, bobo? ¿Qué mira, bobo? Anda para allá, bobo. Anda para allá.
Tranquilo, Leo. Bueno.
And they speak a lot like Italians because they descended from Italy, if you did not know that. And yeah, I think it's right here. I think el acento de la República Dominicana, that accent is a lot more, it's for me, better to understand. But I can honestly see it going like this. For someone that like doesn't, because I studied a lot of Dominican, even though, if in my personal opinion, if I were to switch it, like I would put the Dominican accent right here, because I studied a lot more of the Dominican accent. But for anyone else that wants to learn Spanish, I have it right here, you know. Just real quick, if you're trying to learn Spanish fast and you're a No Sabo yourself, press the top link in the description. I have a full course. Press the top link in the description to get started. España. This is going straight here, honestly. Like, there's no question. Ninguna pregunta. Like that is the tier it's going in España, because when I went, if you didn't know this, I went to Spain when I was like 10. I didn't speak any Spanish during that time, but I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, like, how do they speak over there? And he told me, like, it's like a completely different language, because, well, nos fuimos a Barcelona, so we went to Barcelona, and they speak like more Catalan and that slang accent. But honestly, the people in Spain, it is hard to learn, because it's like, I would describe it as learning Spanish from like, or learning English from the UK. So it's like, that's the kind of same tier it's on. So I put Necesito subtítulos. That's honestly where I'd put it right there. Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica goes in entiendo, because when I spoke to some Costa Ricans, like, obviously there's words in Jerga that you don't know as a foreigner, like, that only they know, unless you kind of immerse yourself in their culture. But for the most part, their accent is really easy to understand. If you're from Costa Rican descent or any of these countries, like, these accents are better to learn, and they're easier to learn, in my opinion, speaking to so many different people from so many different countries. New Guinea, I actually don't even know, honestly. I never actually spoken to anyone from this country. Maybe that's a separate video, where comment down below if you want me to, I don't know, speak to someone from New Guinea, or like see if I can understand what they say. You know, test my Spanish a little bit. But New Guinea, I would put it at, I'm gonna put it at, well, I'm gonna put it at poco a poco, because I don't really know, and I don't think it's like the most difficult, but I would actually want to understand why they speak Spanish in the first place. It's really interesting. I don't really know. Panama. I like, I don't mean it to be like that, but I'm gonna put Panama at poco a poco, but I'm gonna put it above Ecuador, not above Chile, because Panama, they have like that Caribbean type of, well, not really Caribbean, but their accent, I couldn't really understand as much as what they would say. Like, not as much as like Costa Ricans, Peruvians, or Salvias, you know, like, I never actually understood them as much as like any of these right here. Venezuela, I'm gonna put Venezuela actually at above Costa Rica. I think actually when I spoke to some Venezuelans, like, they spoke pretty clear for the most part, I would say. Let's put it actually below right there, because they spoke clear, but not as good as like the accent to actually learn as like Costa Rica, Peru, El Salvador, you know, those accents. Nicaragua, okay, y'all gonna be surprised by this, I'm gonna be real. Nicaragua, I'm gonna put it actually at right here, entiendo, because they speak slower. Like, they speak in a way where it's like they're not like, they don't speak like people from Spain. Like, they don't like articulate their words and join them together in the same way. Like, they speak separately. Like, cada palabra habla como así. Like, they just speak in a way where it's just like, they don't join together words, if that makes sense, of what I'm saying. Because a lot of the times, and if you can relate to this when you're learning Spanish, or when you're speaking to someone that's from a different country, they'll like join words together, and it's like the most annoying thing, because it's like, what are you even saying? You know? So you want to like hear every word, you know, separately. So they do that a lot. So I would really want to, I put it right there. Yeah, it's good. Bolivia. Shout out to all the Bolivians, man. Like, La Paz. I'm gonna put it at right here. Bolivia is also like an accent that no one really actually knows about or no one really wants to learn, but honestly, any of these accents right here, in my opinion, are like the easiest to learn speaking to people. Like they're the people that I actually like understood the most when I practiced my Spanish. Speaking to all these countries not as much, even though Dominican Republic would probably be up here for me, but if you were just anyone learning Spanish, like I wouldn't recommend to like start with that one. You progress into it, if that makes any sense. Honduras. I'm gonna put Honduras up here. Honestly, like they're pretty clear with what they say, you know, and I think it's really interesting how they speak too. I think honestly, like any of the Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, like all of them are really similar in that sense of how they speak. I just spoken to a lot more Hondurans because they live here, and I mean they speak almost just as like well as Mexicans. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna put it like right there. That's good. Paraguay. I'm gonna put Paraguay at right below Bolivia. Honestly, because Chileans, like, they speak, like, they're the only reason poco a poco because, like, they speak in a way where I'm just like, huh? But I understood, but, like, I have to, like, pause for a second, excuse me. And with people from Paraguay, I don't really talk to that many people from Paraguay, but, I mean, they speak pretty normal to me. From, like, they don't speak in, like, they definitely don't speak Caribbean, like, you know, Dominican Republic. Even though I love my Dominicans, you know, they're cool. Or Argentine people. You know, like, they definitely don't speak like that. So I would say, honestly, like, Paraguay. Puerto Rico. Okay. I know y'all been waiting for this one right here. Comment down below which one you think it's actually going to be in, okay? I'm going to put it right here. Necesito subtítulos, okay? I was going to put it right here, repite por favor, but honestly, yeah, it's higher than the Spanish accent, but damn, like, is it hard to understand? Like, if you, like, hear Bad Bunny or you hear any of these people that are from Puerto Rico, like they say words I'm just like, what? You know, like I'm like, what do you mean by that? But yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful accent. I love all the accents, honestly. To be honest with you, like every accent is unique in their own way. I'm just ranking it in a way of like from an outside perspective of learning Spanish on my own. And if you're learning Spanish on your own, this is the way I would go about it, ranking the easiest accents to learn. So Guatemala. Okay, I'm gonna put Guatemala at right here. Guatemala is a pretty easy accent too. Like Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Peru, like all these right here are just pretty solid to like understand people and to learn. Like I would say these are the top three, obviously, in my opinion. And yeah, Uruguay. I'm gonna put Uruguay. I don't really know much, honestly, but I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here. Let me know down below, because if you spoke to any people from Uruguay, like, let me know. That is the tier list, okay? This is the final product of the tier list right here. Honestly, I do think the Mexican accent is the easiest to learn. I really believe that, because I've spoken to so many Mexicans and I've spoken to so many different people from different countries, and the Mexican accent is like, I would go there, honestly. You know, I'm biased, I understand that, I'm Mexicano, but you know, like, I think the Colombia is a good close second, Honduras as well too, El Salvador could even be boosted up here, even Peru. I really think Peru is a really easy accent to learn as well too. Now, which accent is my favorite dialect, okay? You might be surprised by this, but honestly, I'm gonna put República Dominicana. Even though I rank it that below, you know, for being the easiest to learn on the dialects, I really like that accent. And then second would be Mexico. You know, that accent would actually be like a really close second for me, because obviously I'm Mexican in mi corazón. Which accent should you learn? Okay, well, obviously you can learn any accent. You can learn any accent you want. It's totally up to you. I would suggest, if you want to learn Spanish fast though, learn the accents that are in either the green tier or the yellow tier. Okay, those two tiers are probably going to be the best accents to learn. What I do on my channel is I help actually No Sabos that didn't grow up speaking Spanish learn Spanish, and we tap into different dialects, different accents, and I help them learn different accents. And also, if you want one-on-one coaching to help you para aprender español, para mejorar tu acento cuando tú hablas, then also I have that link down below as well, so you can book a call with me and I'll be glad to help you. Subscribe if you're new. Hacer lo que es por ti. Click here to watch this video. Do what you do for you. Adios mis amigos. Ciao. Okay? Mwah.